What should you do and don't when you are negotiating with a narcissist? By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what not to do and what to do. So stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung. I am an attorney. I am a narcissist negotiation expert. And on this channel and in these videos, I tell you exactly what you should do, what you should not do, real resources, real tips and tricks so that you can actually shift the dynamic and actually be on the offensive instead of the defensive when you are dealing with a narcissist, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, wherever it is that you are dealing with a narcissist or any type of toxic personality. So wherever you are, if that is you, then feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and stick around so that you are going to be the first one to find out when I upload brand new videos. All right, so let's talk about what you should do, what you should not do when it comes to negotiating with narcissists, whether it's in the boardroom, whether it's in your living room, wherever it is, if it's a custody matter, whether it's a business partner, whoever it is, a contract. If you're dealing with a toxic personality, whether they've actually been diagnosed as a narcissist, it doesn't really matter. You know, they say 1 in 10 people are either narcissistic or have narcissistic traits or tendencies. Who really cares if they've actually been diagnosed, right? I mean, maybe they're just a jackass, but your experience of them is actually the same, is it not? So let's first talk about what you should do, what you should definitely do. What you should definitely do is document. What you should definitely do is document every single thing. You should be writing down every time you have an interaction with this person. You should be keeping a journal, whether it's notes in your phone, whether it's wherever it is. But in my SLAY program, I do have a program. I do have exactly what you should be documenting and how and all of those things. But for sure, if you're interacting with them, keep a record of it. And as much as you can, do all your interacting in writing, you know, whether it's email, whether it's text, as much as you can, try to keep your communication in some form of writing. So as much as you can, keep track of it. I have won entire cases on people's journals. So for sure, document as much as you can. So that's one thing you should definitely be doing. So, you know, you had a conversation, write it down in real time. Keep a journal, keep a log. All right, so that's number one. Next thing you should definitely be doing is creating boundaries. You need to do this for your own mental health, for your own sanity. It is the first way that you heal, but also because you are starting to let them know that there's a new game in town. It ain't going to be the way it used to be. They have conditioned you. This relationship was set up in a certain way, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, a family relationship. You know, I've had to deal with a narcissist in our family. My husband and I have one in our extended family that we've had to deal with. And, you know, we've had to create a pretty strong boundary. It's not an easy situation. It's not an easy thing to do. But, you know, they're not necessarily going to change. You know, that's one of those things that you definitely need to remember. You know, I call it one of the F words, you know, forget about, you know, thinking you're going to have closure. Forget about thinking that you're going to get them to see the error of their ways or thinking that they're going to change, because they're probably not. So what can you do? That you're not going to do anything on their side of the equation. So you can only help yourself over here. So create boundaries for yourself. That's number two. Number three is keep everything in writing as much as you possibly can. So if you do come to any agreements, put them in writing, record them in writing, even if it's something that you came to orally then you memorialize it through a text message or through an email. Today we had an understanding and this was our understanding. You just follow it up with a confirmatory email or confirmatory text. And, as much as possible, don't have those like meetings at Starbucks or whatever. I mean, don't fall in prey to the, oh, we can just, meet up at Starbucks. That's their way of, I'm going to do my Svengali magic on you and try to get you to do what I want you to do. So don't do that. All right. So now I'm kind of getting into the don'ts, but I'm just saying, make sure that if you do have agreements, record them in writing. All right. So that's the next one. The next one is, if you do need to hire a lawyer, you definitely need to hire a strong one who understands narcissism. In my SLAY program, I do teach you how to do that. Most lawyers, 99% of lawyers don't understand narcissism. So you really do have to kind of help guide them, which is something I teach you how to do. But I do help you also find one that maybe can work with you, and you do want a strong one who's going to be willing to have your back, that you do have a rapport with. So that's the next thing. The next thing is, you definitely need leverage. You definitely need to create leverage, and you definitely need to not give it away too early. Hey, all you empaths out there, I see you. See you. And I see you saying, oh, I don't want to fight. I'll just give them what they want and I'll just walk away. Leverage sounds like fighting, and I don't want to fight. I hear you and I see you. I also see you saying things like, well, I'll just give them this and they'll see how nice I am. And then that will make them feel like they want to do something nice for me. All those things that coming out of your mouth, that's a bunch of crap. I'm just telling you right now, they don't see those things. If you're dealing with a narcissist on the other side, you need to have leverage. That is the only way that you will motivate and squeeze them into feeling any sort of potential motivation to want to settle with you, for a number of reasons, which I explain in many of my other videos. But for sure, you definitely need leverage, and you will definitely need that in order to get the case settled. Okay. So very, very certain that you will need this very, very tactical part of your case for sure. Okay. So that's the next thing. The next one is, I definitely recommend that you use video for any kind of depositions, because, they're going to be less likely to act like a jackass when a video testimony is there instead of just a regular testimony. Okay. And I do talk about this kind of thing more in my video on how to prepare for court. So definitely check out my video on that, especially when you are preparing for court, when you are dealing with a narcissist on the other side. So I have a whole video on that. Definitely check that out. All right, things not to do when you are negotiating with a narcissist on the other side. And by the way, if you are definitely going to do all the things I just said to do, give me an agree in the comments on this video. Say agree that you're going to do all the things I just said to do. All right. All right. So things not to do. Don't allow them to cross your boundaries. Do not allow them to do that, because it's your own sake, your own health, your own sanity. Plus, you're reconditioning them, and now they think they're getting away with it. You're giving them narcissistic supply, all the things. I'm just telling you, when you're negotiating, this is a war. They have a mission. It's to take you down. Their mission is not necessarily to win, by the way. I mean, they also get narcissistic supply out of seeing you squirm and intimidating you. Don't forget that. Okay. So don't allow them to cross your boundaries. That's why the cases, never end. So that's why they constantly move goalposts. I have a whole video on that, why narcissists move goalposts in negotiations, which you can check out that video too if you'd like. All right. The next one you should never do. You should never get emotional, ever. Ever. I mean, if you want to go scream and cry and yell later, fine. But when you're in the game, when you're there with them, when they're seeing you, you are not emotional. You are absolutely calm, cool, and collected. They do not trigger you. Really, really practice that. Do not allow them. That gives them narcissistic supply. That's what they want. Then they know they have you. Do not get emotional. Next thing is definitely do not give away your leverage too early. This is a whole art of war. And once you create that leverage, the timing of when you present it and how you present it is absolutely critical. It's all part of your strategy. Super, super important. That's part of slaying, strategy, leverage, anticipating, and focusing on you. Really, really critical. So that's really important. And finally, don't give in and don't give up, because remember, the narcissist is actually more afraid of you than you are of them. That's a fact. They're always the worst right before they're ready to give up. That's also a fact. They will give up. You can win. I've helped many, many people do it. So don't give in, don't give up. And if you are getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist or with anyone, please make sure to grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com. It is totally free. It's a 15-page ebook. Many people have won their entire negotiations on it. winmynegotiation.com. If you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, drop me that comment, subscribe to this channel, do yourself that gift. Free content right here. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, join my free private Facebook group. Again, totally free. So many free resources right here for you. Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. So I'm Rebecca Zung. I am so happy you're here. And remember, today is always a great day to start negotiating your best life. And I will definitely see you in the next video.